Snipers, you have to see what's happening to Bitcoin price right now, as everything is extremely clear for Bitcoin's immediate short-term price action and what we could expect for Bitcoin heading into the end of April, into this new month of May. And by the way, today, First Republic Bank down over 50%, another major U.S. bank on the brink of collapse and destruction. Another banking failure on the horizon. Is this going to be a bullish case for Bitcoin and a bullish narrative for Bitcoin to see further upside? Let's talk about this on the most accurate cryptocurrency technical analysis channel on the internet. We give you guys the earliest confirmation of the next move for the micro and macro traders. Let's talk about Bitcoin's immediate short term. By the way, look at this, snipers. We're fighting in between the monthly and weekly open. Not a surprise. The monthly open right now is the most important resistance level for Bitcoin. Maybe by the time you're watching this video, we're above the monthly open. That would be the preferred case to see continued upside for Bitcoin, because guess what? If we're not able to get above this monthly open, sitting at the exact number of 28,500, then that would potentially validate this bearish market structure of a head and shoulder pattern, because this would be the right shoulder. And so in order to avoid this immediate short-term bearish market structure, we have to get above this monthly open at 28,500. That's the most important resistance level. If we can get above that, guess what? The door is now open to the range resistance of 35,000 US dollars. But what about the immediate short-term downside targets? Well, realize this. The same way this monthly open is acting as a major resistance, which could turn into a support by the time you're watching the video. Hopefully we get above 28,500. But if we're not able to get above 28,500, we don't see hourly, 4-hour, maybe daily candles above 28,400. And guess what? What we have to monitor is this weekly open, snipers. Why is this weekly open so important? It's currently sitting here at 27,600. But guess what? If we see a rejection of 28,500 where we have the monthly open and then we break below this weekly open, not only are we breaking below the neckline of this head and shoulder pattern, but look at what would happen to the total market cap. And this is why we have the best analysis on the internet, because it's 4-dimensional. It's not just 2D. It's not 2-dimensional. It is looking at every aspect of the market, especially the cryptocurrency market, which could be extremely complicated. Notice how if we break below that weekly open for Bitcoin, it would break the total market cap below this very sensitive level here of $1.132 trillion. And then that would open up the door for the whole overall market to come back down towards $700 billion in total market cap, which is the 2018 previous all-time high that acted as a support for the total market cap. And so we are facing that weekly open in the immediate short term, and we have to stay above it at 27,600 for Bitcoin, or else it's going to drag the whole market down. And so what's also correlating with this total market cap chart and the potential bullishness that we're seeing with Bitcoin? Well, Bitcoin dominance has been strong. Preferably, we want to see Bitcoin dominance go further up towards its 200-week moving average if we want to assume that the bottom's already in for Bitcoin. But here's the problem. We're finding resistance here. Remember in our last video, snipers, we talked about 48.94%. Remember, the best analysis on the internet. And guess what? It was a resistance level. We have yet to break above it. So we're still facing resistance for Bitcoin dominance. The bearish case here for Bitcoin dominance is that it has a cup of coffee and doesn't see continued strength or momentum. And it stays below its 200-week moving average, because why would that be detrimental for the overall market? Well, that would assume that the overall market has yet to fully rebalance their portfolios. And that would mean that at some point or another, Bitcoin still has more room to go in terms of dominance to get to that 200-week moving average. But if we can get to 54% dominance, if we can get to that 200-week moving average, then now we could say, all right, well, most of this bear market is behind us, because in the past, we've seen Bitcoin dominance get to its 200-week moving average. By that point, the market bottom was already in. And so until we can see strength for Bitcoin dominance, extreme amounts of strength, then we can't make the assumption that institutions have already rebalanced their portfolios to hedge against downside in this bear market. But if we can get to that 200-week moving average, it's going to be a huge confirmation for us. So we have to monitor Bitcoin dominance. But what else is important here on the charts? Let's talk about that, sniper. So we look at the Ethereum to Bitcoin chart, and it's not a surprise. Once again, the best analysis on this internet. Look what happened here. We had this market structure. We fell out of this market structure, and then we started breaching 65,000 Satoshis, and then we finally got a relief back up, but then we rejected it and formed a lower high, which is bearish. That means we are failing to form further highs here for Ethereum's valuation against Bitcoin. Why is this important? It's a leading indicator for Bitcoin dominance. It's a leading indicator for all their altcoins in the market. And if we're seeing weakness here, if we're seeing a rejection, and then at some point, let's say we get back below 65,000 Satoshis, guess what that means? More altcoins are hedging into Bitcoin in expectation of further downside. And so what is the confirmation that we're out of this bear market? What is the confirmation that we're at least done with the bottom here, that the bottom is behind us? What is the confirmation that we're waiting for? What's going to give us the confidence that we could start putting money into Bitcoin and only expect it to grow? Well, I'll tell you exactly what that confirmation is going to be, snipers. When we go into Bitcoin's chart, just notice how at this point we are still below this 100-week moving average. And we are above the 200-week and 50-week, but this 100-week moving average is still hanging above us. We have yet to even test it. It's currently sitting at 33,000 US dollars. Why are we at such a critical point right now? Well, guess what? We are only one more move away. As a matter of fact, percentage-wise, we are only about 20% away from seeing Bitcoin potentially confirm that this is the end of the bear market and that the lows are already in. Why would that be the case? Well, if Bitcoin can get above all of its major weekly moving averages, that means that we are back in business. That is, in the past, historically, a very strong sign that the bottom has already come in the bear market that we're experiencing. And so getting above all major weekly moving averages would be a massive feat for Bitcoin. How is that going to play out? It's going to play out like this. If Bitcoin stays above that weekly open at 27,600, more importantly, it breaks above 28,500, which is the monthly open, now the door is open to 35,000. And remember, the 100-week moving average is sitting at 33,000 below that level. So we get to 35,000, we come back, and then we test the 100-week as a support. Now we're holding above 33,000, and guess what? All the narratives are going to shift to the bullish side of that. So that's what we're waiting for, to just be extremely confident that Bitcoin has bottomed out. But it's not as easy as it sounds, obviously. And so we have to continue to monitor the immediate short-term price action. I'll keep you guys updated as always. And remember, if you like this content, remember to comment below your favorite part about this video. And of course, if there's any suggestions to make the videos better, I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. But I appreciate each and every one of you snipers tuned in to the best cryptocurrency technical analysis channel on the internet. Hands down, the most accurate technical analysis for sure. And so let's quickly wrap up by talking about some other important revolving parts. Now, I mentioned the monthly candle for the equity markets in our last video. And why is this so significant? Well, just notice how the month of March had an extremely bullish monthly candle, but we've yet to really see any further bullish momentum after that, which means that if April ends up just being this indecision candle, there's still a potential that we could see even further momentum coming in to the month of May. Because we have this bullish candle symmetry here on a macro chart, that is still a possibility. If that's the case, that would assume that the US dollar would continue to show some weakness and that we could see even further upside for the cryptocurrency markets and equity markets. And we're actually seeing that. Since our last video, snipers, the DXY has actually formed a new low, a lower low. It's seeing continued weakness. We have yet to see strength come back for the US dollar. And so I wouldn't be surprised if we see continued downside at this point to 99.132 for the US dollar before we start to see any further relief. And guess what? If we were to just invert this chart, you know what's very interesting about this chart now is looking at it invertedly, guess what? It almost looks like Bitcoin's sitting at 30,000, about to make its move to 35,000. And so isn't that interesting? We see a little push here for the DXY, and then that translates into a little push here for Bitcoin to finally test this major resistance. And then if that's the case, we hold above 33,000. Now we're talking about another bull market, right? And so that's the major level here. Once again, to simplify this, it all starts in the smaller time frames and translates into the larger time frames. We always used to talk about that here on the Snipers channel. In the immediate short term, first we need to get above and conquer this monthly open, 28,500, then the door opens to 35,000. If we see 27,600 break, it's not just the weekly open breaking, it's also the total market cap breaking a major support, and that's going to spell trouble for any further upside for Bitcoin. And so those are the areas we're monitoring. And you know why I say we give you guys the earliest confirmations on this channel? Because our purpose is to give you guys the best technical analysis here, right? And when I give you guys this technical analysis, I give you guys exact numbers, not ranges, not boxes. I give you guys numbers. These numbers are important because there's only such a small range in which these numbers are in before it opens up the door to a larger range. Like we said, when Bitcoin was breaking above 24,300, I didn't say it was going to go to 27,000 or 29,000. No, I said, you break 24,300. Guess what's on the table? 35,000. And guess what? We're already seeing Bitcoin above 30,000. So we know exactly what doors need to open up and what that door is going to lead to. And so right now for Bitcoin, this range that we're playing in is only about 3%. It only is going to take a 3% above or, a 4 to 5% move for Bitcoin for us to get a confirmation of what the next 20% is going to look like for Bitcoin, whether it's going to the downside or upside. So that's what I mean by earliest confirmation. And then to wrap up this video, snipers, it's almost midnight here. I just quickly want to talk about gold. Notice how gold against Bitcoin is actually holding up at this support level. Why is that important? Well, there's one way that this could actually play out. If we see a major sell-off in Bitcoin, gold doesn't have to do anything. It could sit at 2,000 where it's currently sitting, and this chart could shoot up because gold can strengthen against Bitcoin just if it sells off. So we have to monitor this gold to Bitcoin chart, and gold is actually in a very interesting area where it's sitting at previous all-time highs right now. We're actually above the weekly and monthly open, and we're still showing a lot of strength. Just notice the narrative here. October of 2022, gold was actually kind of weak. Equities were still pretty strong. At least institutions were hedging away in alternative assets at that time. Maybe the US dollar was their preferred bet in October of 2022. But then we started to see the effects of interest rates, right? It started with Silicon Valley Bank, and then it continued on. And since that time, we've just seen gold strengthen, right? By the end of January, we were about to test 2,000 US dollars, which is a previous all-time high for gold. And then we saw a garden variety pullback here to form a higher low. And now we are really testing these higher levels for gold to potentially break into price discovery. Now, what could actually break gold into price discovery, and why is that significant? Well, we're seeing a lot of narratives about, let's say, China trying to strengthen their currency by buying up a lot of gold, right? We're seeing countries get together and try to step away from the US dollar. Let's try our best to weaken the US dollar, right? So how are they going to do that? They're going to buy up a ton of commodities, right? Well, Bitcoin is also in that basket, right? If they're buying gold, there's no reason they shouldn't buy the digital version of gold, right? Bitcoin has a lot more potential upside than gold because it's a lot smaller of a market cap. And so if gold does well, it's actually the best thing for Bitcoin as well. So we want to monitor gold. There's no reason for Bitcoin to perform poorly if gold is performing well. So we'll continue to monitor gold. I think it's very important. It's actually above its weekly and monthly open, by the way. So it's showing a lot of strength right now. And so we can continue to see institutions sort of hedging away from the US dollar right now and holding in gold. Ethereum, really quick, we talked about the Ethereum to Bitcoin valuation. I want to mention the Ethereum US dollar range because that could also give us some early hints. 1760 is a major support. 1980 is a major resistance. We break above 1980, it opens up this massive door for Ethereum to head towards 3,500 US dollars. I know it sounds like a long run, but that's a large range. Just notice how when we first broke above this level, notice how fast we moved up, right? And so that's why this is an important level. This is a very important door here at 1980. And so it was nice that we got a little bit of price action here. We got a little bit of a teaser, but we are back below that level. We want to monitor that. And then 1760 is the major support there for Ethereum. And then outside of that, I don't believe there's much more that I want to talk about other than the fact that we have to monitor the S&P 500. There's also a little bit of a hint and bearish sign here of a double top. You can see we failed to form any further highs. This local high maintained itself. We never broke above it. So we'll continue to monitor that. Pretty bearish daily candle yesterday, but that's not going to really matter in the long term. So let's continue to monitor the macro price action here going on. And then on the 6-hour chart, I'm monitoring that for Bitcoin. We haven't yet seen major institutional volume, so no decisive moves yet. No decisive sell pressure as well. So it's really an equal game on whether or not we break above this monthly open at 28,600 and we see further upside, or if we start to slow down and we break below 27,600 and then we potentially see Bitcoin cool off down to that $24,300 level. And remember, we have a CME gap down like around 21,000 US dollars. So a lot could change in the immediate short term. Stay tuned to this channel for the best updates on the crypto market. But right now, the most important level, the monthly open, 28,500, 28,600, whatever you want to call it. Very important. And then 27,600 is the major support. So 27,600, 28,600 to keep it simple. That's the range Bitcoin is in. That's the number that we have to watch to get the earliest confirmation of the next move. And with that being said, snipers, thank you all for tuning in to the Snipers channel today. Until next time, I'll see you guys later. Snipers out.